If you've been feeling really tired or low energy or feeling sluggish throughout the day, or maybe you're running into this energy crash in the afternoon every single day around 3 p.m., leading you to mental battles of if you're going to go to the gym after you're done with work or not, and you're just feeling tired of that, I wanted to tackle this topic today because this is something that comes up a lot with my clients. We talk about how our energy levels plays into everything, and how when we take a holistic approach to our nutrition and our fitness, we see how by working on those things we are able to increase like our energy, our presence in relationships, our presence in our work, and what we're able to achieve outside of health and fitness. And energy is a big player in this, and I think that if we continue to just think like I need to push through the workday, or I just need more discipline to do the workout even though I'm tired, or I just need to have more willpower to be able to get over this and just have more energy. I think what I need you to know first off before we get into the podcast is this is not like a willpower or discipline issue. If you're not getting enough sleep, obviously that does play into it, but really what we're going to be tackling today is how this is a fueling issue. This is about nutrition and how nutrition can help you to change your energy levels so that you're not sluggish all day, so you have the energy to do all the things that you want to do, whether that's playing with kids, whether that's pursuing your hobbies, whether that's going to the gym and working out, etc., etc. So before getting to the podcast, hello and welcome. My name is Megan Timpson. I am your host. I am a certified personal trainer and nutrition coach, and my goal with 1% Healthier is to help you have a stronger body, a healthier mindset, and a more enjoyable, sustainable approach to your diet and lifestyle. So I also wanted to share with you before we dive into the podcast, I wanted to give a shout out to one of our listeners, Marcy. Thank you so much for being such a loyal listener, for sending me what is resonating with you, showing me all the episodes that you've been listening to. That really does go a long way for me. That tells me that obviously this podcast is making a difference and impacting lives. So if you also are listening to this podcast and enjoying it, please let me know by leaving a 5-star rating and a review on Apple if you're on Apple, or you can always send me a message on Instagram. I would love and appreciate that. So let's get into the podcast. Let's talk about why your energy is crashing every single day and why you feel so low energy and so tired, because you don't have to live like that forever. And we're going to talk about how and why. So I want you to think back to yesterday or your last work day around 3 p.m. You were probably almost done with work and you promised yourself that you would go to the gym when you were done. But then that's when that mental battle starts happening, because you can feel you're getting more tired, but you're working on doing the things that you said that you would do, right? You promised yourself you'd go to the gym because you know the gym would make you feel better. And maybe eventually when you close your laptop, if you work from home, you close your laptop, you get up and you get changed, and maybe eventually you push yourself through and you're able to get ready and you go to the gym. But before you go, there's this other decision that comes up and you're like, wait, should I eat something before I go to the gym? I hear that carbs are good, but maybe somewhere along the road you picked up the idea that carbs are bad, carbs make you gain weight, so you should eat more protein. And so you look in the fridge for something quick, and all you see is carrots, and you're like, bruh, I don't want carrots right now, so you just go to the gym, you don't eat anything. And then when you do your workout is probably just fine. It's probably one of those workouts where you feel like, was it even worth it that I went? Or maybe if you were doing a high intensity workout, if you went to F45, you were feeling pretty drained afterwards and then pretty hungry. And so when you did get home, it was like, oh, my dinner is going to take me probably like 20-30 minutes to make. And so you're just snacking on whatever you can find because you're just hungry again, right? You didn't eat before the gym and now you're hungry. Now, if that whole situation sounds pretty familiar to you, you've probably lived that day over and over again. And maybe some days, because you're not perfect, you probably were just too tired and you didn't even go to the gym. And that makes you feel bad. And then you kind of continue these cycles of I feel pretty inconsistent even though I'm like trying my best to eat healthy. And so if that feels familiar to you, where you have that mental battle, you have that tired energy, you're trying to hit your goals, but again, you feel pretty sluggish throughout the day, or you just feel like your workouts aren't even giving you the results that you're after, whether that's more energy, whether that's seeing the physical changes in your body, having more muscle definition. If you're not getting to where you want to go, a big part of why that is our nutrition. And today we're going to be talking about how and why nutrition plays such a huge role in our energy levels and what you can start to do about that, because again, you do not have to continue to live a low energy life all the time, because we have goals and we have things that we want to do, and I know that. So I do want to say first, before I get into sharing about why this is happening, that everything that is shared in this podcast is for educational purposes only. This is not medical advice. So I'm going to share 3 things. We're just going to go one by one about why your energy is crashing every single day. And the first one of those being your fueling frequency and also blood sugar swings and spikes. So first, let's talk about eating frequency. Sometimes, if you're like many of my clients, we have the tendency to either skip breakfast or maybe skip lunch, or maybe you don't necessarily skip breakfast or lunch, but you're either eating a small breakfast and then you're snacking throughout the day. Whatever your rhythm of eating is, if you tend to skip breakfast or if you tend to skip lunch, what that does is that not only contributes to your energy crash because your body is not getting the energy sufficient enough for its needs to keep your brain going. What's interesting is your brain almost primarily runs off of glucose, which is carbohydrates. And so if our body is not getting enough of those in general, then our brain is not getting enough of those. And so it's no wonder why we're starting to feel like we're getting more tired, or we're getting more sluggish, or we're feeling lower and lower energies because we're not getting enough fuel for our entire body, but we're also not getting enough fuel for our brains. Regardless of if we've exercised or not today, your body needs fuel to thrive and to function properly. So if you reflect on a couple of your past days, if you've skipped breakfast or if you've had really low amounts of food for breakfast or for lunch, that's probably a big factor in your energy levels. Another thing that I'd mentioned briefly is blood sugar swings and spikes. So if for your breakfast, let's say you had cereal for breakfast, since that's primarily just carbohydrates, your blood sugar spikes pretty quickly and then comes down pretty quickly. And those blood sugar spikes and crashes, those can contribute to low energy as well. Also, maybe if you had like a lunch that was like a sandwich and chips, or like your bagel with eggs, like a breakfast bagel or something like that, and again, it felt pretty carb heavy. If that happens, that's probably why you feel like you're grogging around, because it was so carb heavy and you didn't have enough protein in there, or you didn't have enough fiber-rich carbs in there to regulate that blood sugar spike. So that's just something to think about, is again, carbs are not the enemy in this situation. Rather, if we can focus on balanced meals, that would help your blood sugar be more regulated, so that way you're not running these spikes and crashes all the time. So that's something to keep in mind. The second thing that I want to share with you that can contribute to low energy and feeling pretty low is, again, this concept of under eating earlier in the day. There's actually a controlled trial that found that if you did skip lunch or had a low calorie lunch, that contributed to your blood sugar rising higher at dinner despite whatever you'd eaten. So what I want to share with you in this point is, if you can eat regularly throughout the day, having consistent energy coming in, because again, we're moving, we're living, we're breathing, we're working, we're doing so many things throughout the day. If you can have consistent inputs, then your outputs will be more consistent. And when you think about like when you're a stay-at-home mom, or if you are working, whatever it is, you have a lot that is demanded of you. And so it's so important that you are eating adequately. And again, that can't just be like cereal for breakfast and a toast for lunch and then a handful of nuts and then whatever you make for dinner. That's just not going to be enough food. That's not enough macronutrients of what you need. So if we can figure out how you can have the right balance of foods in your meals to help you have more sustained energy, that will make such a huge difference in your energy, in your personality, in your creativity, all these things. Eating well, eating balanced meals, eating frequently throughout the day, not like every hour, but every 3 to 4 hours. Having that balance would make such a big difference and impact on you and your energy throughout the day. If that's not already in your rhythm and routine, implementing that alone would make such a big difference. Along these same lines, I actually want to share with you a client story, because I was talking to her earlier today, and now that I'm recording this podcast, it reminds me of this, because one of the wins that we don't often see in our fitness journey is our energy levels, is our presence in our life, is our ability to do a lot of the things that we want to do without having to feel like it's just this extra thing on our to-do list, right? And to give you an example, to paint the picture for you, today when we were on the check-in call, it started, she was pretty frustrated. She's like, I'm doing all the right things, but I'm just not getting to where I want to go. And albeit that is just really frustrating. Like I totally get that. And throughout our conversation, we were talking more and more about the things that she was working on, the things that she was implementing, and what she was seeing. And it's really interesting because after probably like 30 minutes of chatting, she was like, oh my gosh, you know what? I actually went out with my friends the other day and I put on a different pair of pants that was a smaller size and actually fit into it. And I was like, oh my gosh, tell me more. And then she started to describe like the situation. It's like, yeah, like, wait a minute. Even though I'm like not seeing like the scale go down that she was like talking about, because that was like, this is like one of her big goals, was to see some body recomposition, lose some weight. It's like, even though the scale is not going down as fast as I'd wanted it to, I did fit into like a lower size of pants. And when I was going out with my friends, like I didn't feel sluggish at all. And like I had more energy. And other things that she had mentioned was like, I've just developed such better habits around meal prep and around food and making better choices that even if like the weight on the scale isn't changing drastically, like I am getting better and I am getting healthier. And I think that mindset shift is huge and so helpful, especially if that's something that you're working towards too. If you're wanting to see more physical changes in your body, if you can come at it with like the 1% healthier approach that we talk about, like that I'm working with this client on, is if we can help you get to a spot where one, your nutrition foundations are very solid and you're doing the things that we talk about and what would be like personalized for you. If you're doing those things, we're getting you the right habits and the mindset and the routines, all these things are going to start to fall into place, including like all these other benefits of I feel more energy. And one of the things what was cute is actually on the call, she was like, I actually start to feel like really good in the gym. Like I used to be like really timid, but she's like, I feel like the it girl. That's what she said. And I was like, oh, everybody deserves to feel like that in their own skin. Everybody deserves to feel like I'm full of energy. I feel good. I'm proud of myself. And even if I'm not where I want to be, I'm going to where I want to go. So anyway, sharing that story because it is a huge win to recognize my energy is changing. My perspective on myself is changing. I'm not wanting to date boys because I want that validation for myself, and that if I have a boyfriend, then I'm going to start working on all these things. It's no, like now is the time for me to get healthy. Now is the time for me to work on these things. I share that too because that was part of our conversation earlier. Is at the beginning, she just really wanted to do these things because like dating is such a big part of life when you're in your mid-20s, and it's like hard to not consider that when we're thinking about life goals, right? And so I just think that that's something to keep in mind too, is am I doing this for me? And if I'm doing this for me, then the results are going to come and life is going to happen and God's plan is just going to pan out in the way that it needs to. But what I can do right now is what I can control, and that is how I'm eating, and that is how I'm working out, and that is how I'm showing up for people. And in order to show up for people, I've got to have the energy to do so. And if I want to go out and meet people, I have to have the energy to do so. Again, it all comes back to nutrition and how we're feeling and how we are living our lifestyle. If we're wanting to make changes in other areas of life, like this is a holistic thing. Like one thing affects all the others. So that's why I'm sharing this story. Okay, back to the reasons of what is contributing to low energy and why your energy is crashing. The third one that I want to share with you is specifically nutrition gaps. What in your diet you might be missing if you are experiencing low energy, especially if you feel like, you know what, I'm eating pretty healthy, I'm working out, like what am I missing? Here are a few things that you might be missing. Number one is vitamin D. And right now is the summertime. The sun is up if you're in the northern hemisphere. Like this is a great time to get your skin safely exposed to the sun, which I've been listening to a lot of podcasts on this recently because it's something that I think is fascinating, because vitamin D is such a big proponent of our health. If you think about all things that are living and breathing, like they need the sun to survive. The sun is life-giving. And so I think that it is equal for us as humans, and it's important to have safe sun exposure as well. So if you haven't already been out in the sun like in the springtime, or if you haven't been out in the sun like in those morning hours when the UV rays are not as intense, start practicing that and start getting yourself acclimated to the sun. This is not a sun podcast, so I'll just end it there. But vitamin D is so important, and it does play a big role in your energy levels. And also if you're feeling fatigued or weakness or non-specific pain, that could be signs of vitamin D deficiency. The second one is magnesium, which, fun fact for you, magnesium is essential for your body to process vitamin D. What it does is it helps to convert vitamin D into its active form in the liver and your kidneys, which allows your cells to actually use that vitamin D to help you produce the energy and use vitamin D for all the things that your body needs it for. So magnesium. And a couple of foods that are high in magnesium would be leafy greens, nuts, seeds, legumes, and some vitamin D rich foods would be fatty fish or egg yolks, for example. The next two are iron and B vitamins. And what's interesting about iron is it helps to produce your body's ATP, which is your body's cellular energy. And while it does help to form the core of our blood, it helps to transport and store oxygen to the blood and muscles. And then from there, your cells use that oxygen to convert carbs and fats into ATP, which is your body's energy. So iron is necessary for that process, which you can find in red meats, poultry, lentils, spinach. And another fun fact for you about iron is that vitamin C helps your body to absorb iron. So if you pair that with like a kiwi or some bell peppers or some citrus, that would help your body to absorb iron. And then for B vitamins are actually really interesting too, because they also help your body to convert the food you eat into energy, the ATP. They don't provide calories themselves, vitamins do, but what they do is they unlock the energy that is in carbohydrates, fats, proteins, and also helps to support the formation of your red blood cells and transport oxygen throughout the body. So there's lots of things that play into your body's energy levels, and a lot of those things come from what you ingest in your food and your vitamins and your minerals. So very important there. And a couple of examples of some B vitamins, if we're talking about B12, some organ meats. If you don't like organ meats though, like beef or chicken liver, salmon, trout, tuna, eggs, plain yogurt, those would be great as well. Other B vitamins would be in legumes, think chickpeas, lentils, black beans, or sunflowers, avocados, bananas, potatoes. Getting a variety of foods, fruits, vegetables, beans, legumes, you'll probably be getting your B vitamins and helping your body to create more energy. Those are some food sources of ways that you can get in those vitamins. If you're wanting a supplement for B vitamins, for omega-3s, for magnesium, there are a few supplements that I recommend. I'll have them linked in the description box below. They're from the brand Just Ingredients, which I love with my whole heart. Everything that they make is insanely high quality, and you can always trust that the supplements and the foods that they make are of the utmost quality. So I'll have those listed for you below, because there is a supplement that I've been taking actually called the Daily Recovery one. It's in their sports nutrition line, and I was amazed looking at it the other day while I was preparing for this podcast that it has vitamin D in there, it has zinc, it has magnesium, it has iron, and I was like, wow, this is perfect for what I was talking about. So anyway, if you're wanting to supplement with anything, I'll have my favorite supplements listed in the description box below. And one more that I'll mention is electrolytes, because I do feel like this does make a difference. And while electrolytes do not provide like caloric energy for your body, they do help you to prevent mental and physical fatigue from dehydration. So I'm gonna throw that in there as another nutrition gap that might help with low energy. So those are the 3 things that I want you to keep in mind about why this is probably happening. Is maybe you're under eating, your meal frequency, what is the makeup of your meals and how that's affecting your body, how that's affecting your blood sugar, and then also specific nutrient gaps. All these things, along with a few others, play a role in your body producing energy or not producing energy, which is contributing to why you're having that energy crash every single day. Now, all that said, what I want you to know too is that the solution to having low energy or feeling tired all the time is not cutting out caffeine. And you might be relieved to hear that, maybe not, maybe you don't really care too much about caffeine, but regardless, cutting out caffeine is not it. And I think that deep down you probably already know that, or you would have cut it out by now, or it would have worked by now, right? The real solution is actually working with someone who understands the role nutrition plays in your energy levels, so that way you don't have to continuously white knuckle through feeling low energy or feeling like you're just pushing through or not getting like the most out of your workouts, out of your gym membership, because you're just feeling mid, right? And specifically working with somebody who also helps you understand how to build nutrition routines that fit your lifestyle, that make your life easier, not harder. Rather than it being something on your to-do list that's taking up brain capacity, we would want it to be simple. And that is the work that I do. I've spent the last 4 years working with women just like you, work on these same things about nutrition, about fitness, about figuring out how they can eat in a way that supports their body and fuels their body properly. Now, whether that someone you work with is me or not is completely up to you, but my honest recommendation as somebody who does this professionally is to work with somebody who understands nutrition on a professional level, so that way, instead of trying to DIY it all the time or white knuckle it through low energy or feeling tired, that you actually have a really strong understanding of your own body and how to fuel yourself properly, so that way you can live a fuller life. That way you can be fitter and stronger and healthier and more energetic and be able to live the life and do the things that you want to do. Because I think you and I both know that caffeine and naps and just pushing through it is not a solution anymore. It's a Band-Aid. And I know that you probably want more out of your days than just surviving them, and you're not going to get somewhere that you've never been by doing something that you've always done, right? I think you know that in order to be somebody you've never been, you have to do something you've never done. So if you are looking for that change, my invitation to you is to book a discovery call that I'll list in the description box below. That way we can talk about what that would actually look like for you. There's different options of one-on-one coaching that I have, whether that's creating you a individualized nutrition game plan, so that way you know exactly what to do moving forward and you can take it and run with it, or whether that looks like more in-depth one-on-one nutrition coaching, where we're not just covering nutrition, we're talking about fitness, we're talking about mindset, we're talking about this, that, and the other, and really taking a holistic approach to it all. So There's a bunch of different things that we can talk about there. So if you are looking for support in this area, book a discovery call below. I'll have all the information that you need down there. And to wrap up this podcast, I do want to share with you a mindset minute. I'm going to start incorporating those at the ends of podcasts rather than doing a separate episode on a mindset minute. If you've been around for a long time, you probably noticed that back in the day last year, I did a lot of mindset minutes, and I love those so much. I love sharing quotes and things that I learn on Instagram and things, but I do want to share with you more meaningful mindset minutes at the ends of episodes. So something that's resonated with me this week is a quote or just some takeaways I took notes on that says, if it's your life's work, why does it need to happen so quickly? You win when you don't let the external dictate the internal. And the question that goes with it is, where are you still putting a timeline on something you're meant to do for your whole life? And I want you to just think about that question. Think about if it's your life's work, why does it need to happen so quickly? Think about that in terms of health and fitness. Think about that in terms of life, business, relationships. And remember, who cares? Keep going. That is the Mindset Minute for today. Thank you so much for listening. Again, please make sure to follow the podcast on Spotify and Apple. Leave a 5-star rating and review. And if this energy topic or other topics that I've covered on the podcast would resonate with you or your friends, please share this with them, share the message, continue the conversation, and keep getting 1% healthier every single day. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.